what's going on YouTube? So I want to do a quick kind of just like a walkthrough explanation of the JDI distributors push to start ignition kit basically. And I'm not going to go over all the special features because there's so many videos out there on this, and you guys can go right to their site and kind of get the gist of everything and actually get all the information you need. But at least what I found is I couldn't find anything really descriptive on the 4th Gen Prelude, and it's a little bit more than the video I watched that they had explaining there were some things left out. So I wanted to do, mine's already done. I'm not gonna do a whole video on that because honestly, for a guy my size, I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but in the Prelude it's a tight fit already, and crawling under that dash was just a pain in the ass. So trying to fit in there with a camera, it just was almost non-existent for me anyways. But I kind of wanted to go over some of the things of what you need to do, and it's pretty simple. I'm going to show you some stuff here, and I'm going to put some pictures up too of when I did it, and I'm going to explain a few things. I'm going to show you just kind of what you got to take off and explain a little bit in the car. But again, I'm not actually doing it because I didn't videotape this because it was a pain in the ass, at least for me. It wasn't the hardest thing, it's just very tight fit. Okay, so first thing you got to do is you got to get all your interior pieces off, and I'll walk over there and explain that, but I just wanted to go over some of the simple things right here. So you're going to have to, once you get your clamshell off and get your bottom, you're going to have to remove the bottom panel on your interior, basically kick panel, whatever you want to call it. You're going to have to remove the fuse box panel, and you're going to have to remove your clamshell. And you don't necessarily have to remove the steering wheel, but since I had a quick release, it was pretty easy. And to make things easier, you could unplug and unscrew your blinker and headlight switch. That would make things a little bit easier when you're trying to chisel off the 2 bolts that hold your ignition on. But basically, on the Prelude, you're gonna have your ignition on there, and you're gonna have to chisel these bolts. As you can see, it's really a pain in the butt in the Prelude because there's just not a lot of room, and just hitting that chisel with the hammer, I just didn't like even sending that vibration through my dash and everything. I was like, oh god, I'm gonna end up breaking something, but everything was good. Steering column is really strong, but still, it's not a pleasant feeling, especially if you're really trying to rebuild your car and recondition it and bring it back to life. You don't want to beat on it. So that was nerve-wracking. But if you got a really sharp chisel, mine was kind of dull, to be honest. I kind of made it harder. If you got a really sharp one, it'd probably go much easier. But you got to basically chisel a little groove in here, hit it to start loosening it, hit it, and then you can loosen both. I actually, by the way it started to get tighter on this side because it caught. So I ended up actually just kind of bending it a little bit and sliding out and then bending it back. But I can get this bolt out now if I need to. So then what you're going to have is you're going to have the ignition wire. You're going to have that actually right into here. See that cap with the 3 bolts? It's right in there. You're going to have to take those 3 bolts out, and then you're going to have basically this little magnetic clip right here is going to go right into that little bolt, little screw right there. And then right up here, you're going to have where your the illumination goes, the bulb to illuminate it green if you have the ring that illuminates. I believe you should. So once you get this off, you just take these 3 bolts off, 3 screws off, and that 1 screw, and of course get it detached. So once that's off and out of the way, your ignition, that's pretty simple. This is actually going to be, this wire is actually going to be electrical tape to it, and I just split it apart. So on the Prelude, one thing they didn't mention, they said it had 2 wires. It technically has 3 because you have the illumination plug-in, and that's actually attached to this whole thing unless you unwrap it while you're there, but I just left it together and then pulled it out. So you're gonna have, this wire is gonna be a gray connector, and right under, it's very easy under the dash, you can unplug it. Then when you start to get to these wires, you actually have one that goes to the fuse box down below at the kick panel, and this one above, and it's actually above your air duct. so for your HVAC in the car. And this piece of this air duct, you can actually pull on pretty easy and pop it out, and it comes out right below, and you can get all the wiring. It's actually designed that way, and you can slide it right back in. It's pretty easy. The pain in the butt is this wire. If you see right here, you got the clip on the front, and it slides in on the actual clip that it goes in, and you're gonna want to wiggle, and pop that thing forward, and then that will give you a lot more room and flexibility to pull this wire apart. Don't try to do it. I tried it first up there, and I was like, well, there's got to be a way to get this off, and it actually just slides on and off. There's no clip, unless you break it, that it's hanging on, that is holding this on. You just got to kind of tap it forward, and it'll come right off, and then you can unplug it. So I will, like I said, show pictures through here of some of the stuff, but I'm going to walk you over now and show you the few bolts I took off and where to expect this. Again, that walkthrough right there, that's going to be the most intensive part actually you have to do. Well, no, sorry. Chiseling the damn bolts off is probably the most intensive part. That's annoying, but really it's just fitting under there and getting under there to get those 3 wires unplugged is kind of a pain in the butt. So what you're going to start with is you're going to pop this off with a flathead screwdriver, and there's going to be a 12mm bolt and a screw. Don't mess with the 12mm bolt. You don't need it take anything off on it. You just get that screw further back, and then let me just get this back. Then you're going to have these 2 bolts, or sorry, 2 screws. Let's see if I can get on this screw. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. You're going to have those 4 screws on the bottom kick panel right here. And then there's going to be a little clip that you just pull gently on. Got to give it a kind of a tug, but you want to straight pull it out and it'll pop out. That way you don't break or bend, you know, where it pops in. And that holds it. And down here where you did that screw, let me make sure I get on there. Where you did that screw right here, on this bottom panel, you just got to kind of wiggle it and loosen it out, and you'll be good to go. Just don't pull on it or you're going to end up breaking your piece over here. You just got to wiggle it out, finesse it out just right. And then of course, we all know if you have a Prelude, I'm sure, you pop off this fuse box panel, and you're just going to take it off and out of your way. And then you're going to take the clamshell off, and you're going to need a deep screwdriver to get up into here in some of these because they're pretty long. And you're going to take this screw out right here. You're going to have, let's see if I can get them, I don't know. See those screws right there? You're going to have those 3 hard screws that go right in the metal bracket. One back here. You'll want to take that off, and then you're going to have a deep screw way, let's see if I can get it over here. Way up here. This one is really deep up to the top. So you need a really long screwdriver. Then you're going to be able to take off your, and again, I'm doing this just by my hands, guys, so bear with me. Hold on 1 minute. I'm going to take this off. So once you have your clamshell off, you know, take your clamshell top off. Bottom, you can slide out to this. I didn't want to scratch mine up because my interior is in pretty good shape, so just even these little scratches here bother me. If it had been my 94, I probably would have just pulled it off and not worried. But I kind of just let it hang and dropped it down. And once I got in there, you could have took the headlight switch and the blinker switch out with 2 Phillip head screws, I believe, if I can remember right. And then unplug them and they should pop off. There might be an extra screw in there or 2 you can, you know, check. That would have made it a little bit easier, because if you look from the windshield, how close the windshield is to here, it was kind of hard just to swing that hammer and get it just right. And I had a pretty heavy mallet too, just to try to put some force on really hammering it down and get that those 2 bolts chiseled for the ignition off. So basically, once you get that ignition off, you do what I showed you over there on the workbench, and then you're going to come down under here, and I don't have the panel pulled off again except for on the fuse box. But basically, see this wire? Let's see where I can get some light. See that wire right up there where my finger's at? That's where you're going to plug one of them into, and the other one's going to be way up in here, which again, I'll show you a picture of it. You're going to be way up under here, under the duct. You can't see it actually right now, even if I had a light on and showed you under here. because that HVAC duct is in the way. So you're gonna plug those 2 wires in, and that's the only 2 wires you'll need when you actually plug it back in. You don't need a 3rd wire for the light. And then you're going to basically wire that up. You're gonna wire your signal, your ring signal that basically senses the key tags, and that actually has a pretty good length on there. And I'll highlight that in the picture what that is. And again, if you watch JDI's videos, they'll explain that. And you can hide that anywhere in the car where you wanted to go with it. And then you're gonna have to plug everything into the box and put your push start in, and you're actually gonna fit it the way you want it and run the wire through the clamshell and plug it in the box. And basically that's it, guys. After that, you're good to go. Then you just want to do your you know, set up the way wherever you want your ring to set up and everything, and go from there. I will do a start and a stop of the video here and show you guys. All right, here you guys go. So if you didn't disable your clutch pedal, you're gonna have to push in your clutch, and then you're gonna have to push in your brake at the same time. And you will want to scan wherever you put your and you see how it lit up. And I'm gonna try to do this while I'm in there. Press the button. Starts right up, and I swear, at least mine almost starts up faster than with the key in the ignition. It was nuts. Plus I just love the way this thing looks. You can get the button in different colors. You can do, you know, I think different colored ring. I'm not 100% on the blue. You'll have to check on that, but I know you can get a red button, the black button like I got, and I think a different design button also. But I like this one. It went clean with my interior, and I enjoyed it. The way it looks, very flush, and just almost looks OEM to me for this model. So to stop, all you need to do is put your foot on the brake and hit your button one more time, and boom, that's it. And you may be asking if you wanted to use your accessories, you know, have your radio on but not start your car, you know, be able to do whatever you can. It doesn't lock the steering wheel anymore in the Prelude. It doesn't have a lock anymore, see? So I can just turn my wheel. Some cars have a certain, I can't remember the exact word for it, but for the where it locks your steering wheel, they'll explain it in the video, and the step you have to do to either delete that or keep that if you need it. But you would hold the key fob wherever you have it at for about 8 seconds, I believe, and then that allows you to go into like auxiliary mode basically, and you can have your radio on, your electronics on, all your stuff, and not start the car. And then you can start the car if you press it, and then there where you just heard a beep, after so many seconds it locks itself, or you can touch your tag on there again and lock it right away, so that way it can't be used without the key fob. So yeah, if you guys want more, I'm still kind of messing around with it. If you want more information on like the key fobs and different designs, I think they have all kinds of different designs now, and you can order extra ones, and it comes with a I want to say it's a RFID card, and basically that's to keep track of your code or your type of key fobs, I believe. And if you ever lose it, you can order another one as long as you have that card or that number, and they can have other ones made to match if you want some spares. Again, I don't know 100% the process of that. You got to reach out there and talk to them. I just now installed this and have honestly gotten a chance to play with it, and now it's getting ready to be winter, and I actually wish I installed it back in April when I bought it, so I could have enjoyed it all you know, spring and summer long, because now the car is getting ready to go into hibernation and get all kinds of new stuff done to it. But yeah, so pretty much that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask me. I hope that kind of helps. I know it's not my normal video where I'm showing every little part and pulling apart, but yeah, that's a real pain in the ass for me. I don't want to even get back in there. I want to do one for this 94 and for my wife's Civic and the CRV, and even for MDX. I really like them. But for me, it went well. It is very simple. we'll see how the test of time stands against it. So far, right away it was plug and play and really simple. Once I got that ignition off, and that was the pain in the ass, I was very happy with it. So I hope that helps, guys. You can find me on Instagram under CRV Tom, or CRV_Tom, just like you know, on my YouTube, and same thing on Facebook. So hope that helps, guys. Have a good one. I'm out.